Hey friends, and welcome back to Soulstone Survivors. Today I want to cover my method for achieving an 8-minute run consistently in order to unlock one of the achievements for the end game. So there's an achievement that says complete a match in less than 8 minutes. For any of you who are familiar with the game, you know that this can be very difficult to do. But I found a way to consistently do it, so I want to share that with you today. Now, I will say this method has some requirements right off the bat. Number 1, I have 8 runic power worth of runes selected. This means you'll have to get some rune power from other achievements along the way. You can also get 5 of them from your skill tree, so that leaves you only 3 that you need to make up for in your achievements. The other thing to note here is that Reroll mastery is very nice to have and will make your runs more consistently good, but isn't necessary to achieve a good run. The most important part here is singular focus, which will allow us to select the same skill over and over within our run. This requires a runic power of 5, so if you don't have reroll, you're just going to have to try more often in order to get this to go. To unlock singular focus, you'll need to win a match with all curses up to and including tier 6 enabled in the caves of Dal Zog. In these caves, you'll need to go through and select all of these curses all the way up to this level, which is fine because we need these anyway. Once you have your runes selected, go over to your character and we're going to select the Beastmaster. The reason we want the Beastmaster is we need to have Wartiger available to us for this method to work, and we'll cover why in a little bit. So go ahead and select your Beastmaster, make sure your runes are good to go. Your skill tree should probably be maxed out, and then head over to start the fight. While you're selecting your map, we want to very specifically select curses that help us and do not harm us. What this means is that we're not going to reduce our healing, we're not going to have meteors falling. We want to increase the amount of monsters that are spawning in order to spawn bosses faster. So we want Reckless Goblins and Unholy Reinforcements for Curses 1. For Curses 2, we want Reckless Goblins, Unholy Reinforcements, and Clone Army. Curses 3, Reckless Goblins, Unholy Reinforcements, Clone Army again. House of Lords we do not want because we don't want extra bosses to deal with. These don't help us in any way. In Tier 4, avoiding everything except for Unholy Reinforcements and Clone Army. We do not want Pillars of Despair since that's going to keep us from spamming one area of the map. And we'll see that later. For Curses 5, Unholy Reinforcements, Clone Army, and Overwhelming Corruption. Overwhelming Corruption will spawn Void Hunters that seek to collect your Soulstone. This is only a few extra monsters spawning throughout the run, but it can be very helpful as you go through, not only with the experience they drop, but also because they add to the total count of monsters you are slaying. Curses 6, only Overwhelming Corruption, and Curses 7, Overwhelming Corruption and Clone Army. All of these are going to make us spawn more enemies so that we can get through our run faster. Once we've got all of those selected, we're going to hit fight. And I've picked caves here because you should already have it, but any map should do fine with the same curses. The first thing I'm doing is heading up to this top right hand corner. Any corner will do, but what we want to do is get close to a bunch of spawn points. So enemies spawn all along this wall, in this corner, along this wall, as well as over here and down below us. We're really just trying to be close to spawn points so that as soon as something spawns, we don't have to wait for it to get to us in order to kill it. Once we hit level 1, we can do really whatever we want here. You'll want to prioritize at least one of each of the status effect upgrades for your passives. When you hit level 2, you'll get an active skill, and that's where we have to start rerolling. Alright, so now that we've hit level 2, what we want to look for is Wartiger. Wartigers is the ability we want for almost all of our attacks, but the first instance of it is really going to help us through the beginning of the game. So, I am spending all of my rerolls in order to try and find it. We did not find it, so I'm going to go pick something that I can use in the meantime, and we'll try again later. Focus down these casters so that we can get the experience from them and hopefully get our Wartigers. We're gonna banish Fire Shield and take Doom. We'll take multicast here, and now that we have a reroll, we're going to reroll here. Battle Moose is not what we're looking for, but we can use it anyway. Area of Effect Physical is great for us, even though we do want Frailty and Venomous. We're going to take this because it's super good. Either one of these in this situation would be fine. I like to banish Powerful Strikes. It's a simply less powerful version of a lot of other upgrades, and so I don't like having it around. This is up to you, and not really required for the run. So here we don't have a ton of good options. I'm just going to take the increased Battle Mooses. Alright, 2 minutes into the run and we finally have Wartigers. This might be a little far into the run, but we'll try it anyway. We'll grab our Wartigers and have them start going to town. Now, really quickly while I have it paused, I want to point out why we want Wartigers. So Wartigers, of course, we all know are powerful, but the reason why they are powerful is this icon right here. This icon is a weakness debuff. This is not a stacking debuff, but what it does is there is a % chance that any debuff you apply while this debuff is active applies twice instead. So rather than applying 1 stack of bleed, each tiger can now apply 2 stacks of bleed with every hit. This is incredibly powerful at any stage of the game, and it is why we want to get as many debuff related upgrades as we can. The more tigers we have, the more debuffs we're going to apply, and the faster all of our enemies are going to go down. Right here, even though we already have Faithful Strikes, I'm going to pick it again. It increases the amount of damage that Doom is going to do, and none of the other things are really going to help us with this build. I'm going to pick Poison Cloud here, because we don't really have a better option and I'm out of rerolls. This run has actually been a little bit unfortunate in that we don't have very many tigers to utilize. Usually by now I have at least 2, but that's okay. Venomous we don't have, and here's a Wartiger. So pick that Wartiger and replace Venomous Strike. Magnetic is nice to have, so we'll go ahead and pick that. Now here comes the first boss, and we've only got 2 tigers on it, but you can see already how effective they are. There's a 3rd tiger in the back, and our boss is down. So before the 3-minute mark, we've already got boss number 1 down. Alright, here we're going to pick another Battle Moose, mostly because it's better than some of the other things we have. Lightning Bolt, for instance, is not very good for us. Venom is here. So at this point, what we really want to do is maximize the amount of enemies that we're killing, since we need our next objective to pop up. Increasing area of effect is always very good. We're going to banish Touch of Ice since we already have a stack of it. And we'll grab a little bit of movement speed. A lot of the upgrades you pick can kind of be up to you. Just make sure that you're prioritizing at least 1 stack of all of your debuffs. We're going to use damage increase for summon here. And we just need to let our tigers go to work and get us to 850 in order to spawn our next boss. Legendary area of effect for physical is great for us. More physical. More area of effect for our tigers is a huge increase, since it means they can reach more enemies with each of their attacks. Wartigers. Replace Poison Cloud. Increase the level of some of our Wartigers. Alright, and we've got a boss that popped up. Now we just need to find that boss. There they are. We've already got tigers going to town. We'll get some expansive area since we already have spontaneous combustion. Frailty is great, we don't have it yet. Gangrene is incredible here. Since we already have frailty, gangrene is a no-brainer, and so are all of the synergistic status effect upgrades. Always pick these when you have the chance. Thermal shock is another one of these. While it doesn't do a ton for us in the way of damage, it can if we also end up getting the slow applies frailty. Right, second boss is down. Expansive power, damage increase of nature, damage modifier of tigers. Here we want brutal strikes. Even though we have the option of an additional tiger, we really want these brutal strikes over anything else. Multicast is incredible. We'll take it. At this point, we've got enough tigers going around that we can kind of just wait for everything to happen. Unfortunately, we're not doing great on time since it took so long for us to get our first batch of tigers, but we might still make our 8-minute mark. Let's go ahead and grab some XP and see if we can't get another set of tigers. Legendary damage increase for physical is outstanding. And none of these are really good, so we're going to go ahead and reroll. See if we've got any great passives. Lethality is very good for us, so we'll go ahead and take that since we have the bleed on crit. And we'll take burn here. Alright, so we have our third boss. Our tigers are going to work already. And they're done. Expansive area. We're going to reroll and see if we can get something to make our tigers better. And I think what we'll do is we'll take Bestial Wrath here to round out our set. Replace Cluster Bombs with Bestial Wrath. And since it's physical, it's going to benefit from a lot of the things we've already selected. Relentless here. Relentless once again. And Hypothermia. Here's what I was talking about earlier. Even though Thermal Shock doesn't give us any damage right off the bat, what it does do is open us up to get a ton of damage from Hypothermia. So now that we have Hypothermia, we'll start applying stacks of fragility on top of any slows. And that will ramp up our damage very nicely. Once a boss spawns, stand somewhere near the boss. That way next time you summon tigers, you'll have them spawn where the boss is. We have one boss left and about 1.5 minutes to do it. I think we'll be okay, but it's gonna be close. Alright, about 151 monsters to go before the third boss, and we have about 30 seconds left, so let's hope we can get these monsters down quickly. Ten more, and 10 seconds. Alright, now we just need to find the boss. There's the boss. let's go stand over by Alexi and have our tigers go to work. And there we have it. 7:55. So I hope this guide was helpful for all of you. I hope you enjoyed this strategy. If you liked the video, hit the like button and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the strat, or if you've got a better one that works for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.